Okay, so calories are very useful for comparing apples and apples. 200
Yeah.
calories of crisps is twice the portion of 100 calories of
Yeah.
crisps. Clearly, okay. Less are useful for comparing carrots to steak. Okay, and I think or donuts to carrots for that matter, which is probably a more extreme comparison. But you're absolutely right. It does have a role to play. I just think that just the pure number is probably unhelpful.
Hmm.
Just to be clear, calorie information at point of purchase, and this is work that's done by my colleagues, I mean, in Cambridge, have been shown to be useful. So if you go to your favorite coffee shop, and suddenly you walk past a blueberry muffin and you see it's 400 calories, which is what a blueberry muffin roughly is, and you're thinking, oh my God, 400 calories. It does give you pause for thought,
Yeah.
and my colleagues have calculated that you're 8%, obviously in a population wise, 8% less likely to purchase said muffin,
Is it
and
only
presumably
eight?
it's only 8%.
Only eight? I thought it'd be way more than that. Okay.
No, and I mean on a
Yeah.
population
Yeah.
basis,
Yeah.
on a population basis. So clearly, calorie counts at point of purchase have their role. I just don't think that as a straight number they're hugely useful. I think it would be more useful. So when you get our front of pack labeling and back of pack
Hmm.
labeling and what have you, I I don't know if the calorie count is what I want to see, to be fair, or what needs to be seen. I think what needs to be seen, you need to highlight the fiber amount, which is
Yeah.
on the back of the pack, but requires your reading glasses for you to read it, and the protein amount. And I think those two are going to be, sugar is fine
Hmm.
in terms of listing, but I think the protein amount and fiber amount are a far more useful marker for how good that food is you're going to be eating, as opposed to the actual calories per se.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And when I do the webinars and I say to people, just to keep it simple, just pick 2 or 3 different items, look at the table on the back, pick the per 100-gram column. That's the only one
So
you're
so that's
interested in.
comparison. So it's comparable. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Ignore the per serving, because we all know the per serving's a little bit short, isn't it, for most of us? So share, look at the per 100 grams, and then that allows you to compare those apples and versus apples kind of thing. And absolutely right. If you don't have any known health issues, then absolutely focus on the protein, because you pick the one with the highest protein to fill you for longer. But maybe if you have issues with your cholesterol, you might want to pick one with less saturated fat. And if you're diabetic, pick the one with
Then
the
you need
least
to focus on the sugar. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
so you can start to build in and personalize it a little bit more. And I understand completely, it can be very overwhelming, can't it? You go to the supermarket and there's just shelves of cereals, for example, all the colors saying pick me. So just as I say to people, just pick one thing each time you go shopping. 1 week do a cereal, the next week do sliced bread or whatever. Don't overwhelm yourself with it, and just do that. Pick 3 and pick the best one for you. And then the next week whenever you next go shopping, do the same again with 3 different things. And you will start to refine your choices. And also just have a look where it says ingredients, because when it says ingredients, those are the items that have been added. So try and pick something that doesn't have so many chemicals and things that you don't know what they're called, as close as we can to nature, because it is about whole food at the end of the day. That's the thing that we want really to encourage people to eat, is more whole food, isn't it? And less of the ultra processed.
I mean that has got to be the aim. That has got to be the aim. Now, is it easy to deliver across the entirety of society? That's to be debated. I think us middle class people, we're chatting about here and chatting amongst ourselves, I think we can follow these rules. I mean, my difficulty with this, and I raise it in the book, with regards to food poverty, for example, the food insecurity and food poverty, is how do we ensure that these rules and access to the healthier foods are equitable? How do we ensure that across the entirety of society we're able to deliver this? And I think we are not there yet.
No.
I think
Yeah.
there we need to discuss. But I think as a ambition
Yeah.
for most of us to eat largely whole foods and drink pretty much water, I think, look, listen, check. It's not controversial. I'm not here trying to, because it's true. Okay. Now, can we deliver it? And I think that is do we want it? Do we want to? Can we deliver it? I think these are questions that we should debate. We should talk about. We should debate and admit that we can do far better.
Yeah, I agree. And their progress is starting to be made by introducing it more within schools and getting kids more involved in it, so the knowledge right from the start. But we've got a long way to go in terms of price, haven't we? And it just seems wrong that a lot of stuff that's healthier for us is the more expensive type, and the more ultra processed is cheaper.
I mean,
So yeah.
Michael Marmot, who's written a lot actually about food sustainability, and he writes for the he writes these white papers for the government. I mean, he's estimated that if we actually live, if the bottom centile, that the bottom 10% of the socioeconomic ladder tries to live according to the suggested healthy way of living, the nutritional plate, they would spend an unreasonable amount of money, something like 50-60% of their salary on trying to eat that in that fashion, the lowest, the bottom 10
Yeah. And
centile of society. So how is that helpful? And I guess this is the problem, right? We're the answer. Let me tell you what the answer is. So I'm okay. Once again,
you know the answer.
I
Share
know
it. Come
the
on,
answer.
share the
I
answer.
know the answer. No, because many people have asked me, says, "Well, look, Mister Book writing,
Yeah.
Cambridge person,
Guru. Yeah.
if you were PM, okay, Prime Minister, what would you do?" Okay, I don't have the answer, but I have an answer, and I think my answer would be to make healthier food the cheaper,
Uh-huh.
more convenient option. And so that what happens is the default is always that the cheapest option and the easiest option to get is the healthiest option. Now you can then choose to have unhealthy food, and because we're middle class and we can afford to, we can drive somewhere, we can go somewhere, we can pay more for it. That's our business, okay?
Yeah.
But so that the people at the bottom rung of the ladder in society, whatever decision they're making, because they have limited decisions, they will be making a healthy decision, rather than at the moment it's the opposite, okay, where the easiest and cheapest and most convenient option for someone without the
Yeah.
resources tends to be the most unhealthy.